Okay, let's talk about the number one thing that you need to do to get math problems correct. So this is going to be coming from my perspective as a math teacher. Teaching math from middle school to high school, even into college, having a degree in math, and etc. So I have a lot of experience, to back up what I'm going to be talking about. So this is not, just again, it's coming from my experience as a teacher, teaching and seeing how students learn and seeing the patterns of success, but also me personally having to learn math as I went through my degree program and continuing education. So you really want to pay attention to what I'm going to be talking about. Now I've done a couple other videos. I do a lot of videos on trying to get people to pay attention to success habits when it comes to math. I did a related video to this on how to get an A in your math class. That particular video was really focused in on the importance of note taking. So I would definitely encourage you to check this out. But this particular video here is going to be talking about an actual math problem. When you're working a math problem, what is it that you really need to do to get that math problem correct, or to really give yourselves the best chance to get it correct? So we're going to get into that in 1 second. If you're new to my channel and you're looking, you find that you do like my teaching style, hope you consider subscribing. I have literally hundreds of videos on various math topics, and make sure you hit that bell notification if you choose to. I also offer comprehensive math courses. I'll leave the link in the description of this video for my various courses at TabletClass Math Academy. So if you're interested, you can check that out. But with that being said, let's get into it. The number one thing to get a math problem correct is, drum roll, is basically you got to show all of the work. This is it, okay? You got to show all of your work. And I want to emphasize this as well, okay? You also got to do it in a very neat and organized manner, okay? This is the hallmark of being an excellent mathematician, okay? If you don't show your work, you're going to run into all kinds of problems, even if you think you know how to do um, the problem and get the solution. Okay, so let's take a look at some of the mindset here, then I'll give you some actual kind of examples. So you got student, let's say student A, and let's say they're happy about their math, and let's do here student B, and they're not so happy. Okay, so let's say this is student B, let's say this is student A. Okay, so I'm going to kind of go into a little bit broader topic, and I'm going to get back to this as specifically, okay, about why showing your work is so critical. But student A, with this person here, this is going to be your top-notch student. Okay, they're going to be doing great in their math class. It doesn't mean that they don't have to work. Okay, so let's just put this as the first thing. This person has to put a lot of work and effort. Okay, it's reflected in their notes. Okay, their notes are outstanding. Okay, and they really concentrate on in class to take notes. They practice. Okay, but not only do they practice, they have a lot of good practice. Okay, not just bad practice. You can be busy at doing something and never improve. Matter of fact, if you're just busy, just kind of doing some busy work, kind of like halfway doing something, you're actually hurting yourself. So can be the kind of the characteristics of a math student that's really going to do well. Now let's talk about the practice here. Okay, the practice is also they show their work. Okay, show all work. This is huge. Okay, when they take tests and quizzes, they show all their work. Why do they show all their work? Because that's how they practice. See, the way you practice is the way you're actually going to do something on a test or quiz. Okay, you remember, this is all forming habits. Okay, now they're showing all their work because hopefully their teacher is a good teacher. Let's just make that assumption that most students are going to have a pretty good teacher. They're learning from. So in their notes, their teacher should be showing how to do a particular topic or math concept or whatnot, they in their notes, they should have all the steps, okay? All the steps to do a particular type of problem. So this is this is characteristic of students are going to do very, very well in math. Okay, now I'm going to focus in on showing all your work here in just 1 second, but this is so important. I wanted to kind of emphasize this. Now, let's take a look at student B. Okay, this first student, they work. Student B might think that they're pretty good in math, and they're like, I don't need to work because I'm already good. Okay, so already they're not working. Okay, so let's use the word lazy. Hate to use that word, but let's just call it what it is, right? They're not putting in the effort because they don't think they need to. They're just assuming that, now I got this, da 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 da. I see what's going on. I don't really have to work as hard as I think I need to. The second thing is their notes. Okay, if you have that attitude, your notes are going to be average at best. Yes, you'll have a notebook. Yes, you'll have some things in your notebook, but it's not going to be comprehensive. And this is what the point I was making in my other, I have another video about note taking, where I really emphasized the importance of note taking. But I'm not talking about just average notes. Like, hey, look, I got some stuff written in my notebook. Yeah, I'm kind of writing the teacher, what the teacher's writing down. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about constructing outstanding notes, like excellent notes. The only way you're going to be able to have top-notch notes that you can read and understand and learn from is to be focused and engaged in class, ask questions, and you take a lot of pride in that product. That is going to go a long, 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 long way. It's the number one indicator to see. If I could just look at a student's notes, I could just pretty much tell exactly how well they're going to be doing in class. I mean, it was really that simple. Also, over the years, I've done a lot of tutoring, and I would just say, oh, this person I'm struggling in math, or a parent will come to me, my student's struggling in math. I'd say, oh, can I take a look at their math notes? And they're like, well, they don't really have math notes. I'm like, oh, well, hello, it's like, let's start there, and that will typically fix a huge amount of problems. Okay, so let's keep going on here. So this person may have average notes at best, and when they practice, okay, maybe they don't do practice. Boy, I tell you, I need to practice spelling, right? So practice this is the beauty of abbreviating practice. When they practice, they may not do all the homework problems. Let's say they'll do like half the problems, or maybe they don't complete. And if they do problems, they're kind of inconsistent in the amount of work they show, okay? And this gets reflected on tests and quizzes, okay? So remember, the way you practice is the way you're going to do something in real life. For those of you out there who are in the military, I know in the Marine Corps, it was basically, we had a saying that said, the more you sweat in peace, the less you bleed in war. I mean, you train the way you're actually going to do something in real life, okay? And it's really no different in math. The way you train, okay, i.e. homework, the way you're practicing is the way you're going to respond when you're faced with an actual math test or math quiz. If you practice poorly, you're going to have poor habits that are going to flow into your test taking ability. It's as simple as that. I mean, this is common sense kind of stuff. So if you want to do well on tests, then you need to be practicing well. Okay. So I don't want to belabor all of this because I want to get into this main point of this video. But this is just some good overview of like, hey, showing all your work is a form of discipline that also needs to be kind of translated. You'll see this as well in notes and your tests, etc., across the board. So let me erase all this here. And, although I'm kind of going off on a tangent a bit, everything I'm saying is critically important. So I'm not wasting your time. Yeah, if you're not interested, I mean, it could be like, well, yeah, I get this, and click off the video. And I get that. We're all busy, and you have a lot of things to do. But if you're really interested in improving in math, then stick with me through this video. Okay, I'm going to try to wrap it up pretty quickly here, but let's take a look at what I'm talking about. So I'm going to make up just some problem here. Let's see here. Okay, I'm just going to make up some equation, all right? Now, if you want to kind of follow along with me, you might want to pause the video and see if you can solve this equation, okay? And just maybe give yourself, maybe a couple minutes, a minute or two, see if you can actually solve it, okay? Now, if you don't want to play along, just continue watching the video, no problem. Okay, now if I'm going to do this problem as a math teacher, okay, I'm going to get in a certain mindset, all right? I'm the math teacher, all right? And as a person does a lot of math, I'm already of the mindset of the following, okay? And that is this. I am capable of making an error. It's very easy, even for myself, to make an error if I don't focus and concentrate. Okay? I don't need to convince myself of that because I already know that for doing thousands and thousands and tens of thousands of problems, simple problems, easy problems. All math teachers, doesn't make a difference how educated you are. Everybody's capable of making a mistake, even the best of math teachers. So I already know that going into a particular problem. Here's the thing: a lot of students they just feel like, no, I got this, I can do this. It's not going to be a problem. Listen, you need to be a little bit paranoid because I'm going to tell you, you have a high probability of making an error going into any problem, even if you know what you're doing. So just accept that. So the way to mitigate this, okay, the way to reduce the chance of making an error is you have to show each step. You have to show each step and then audit yourself as you go. Show each step, double check. Double check. You're always double checking, double checking, double checking. It's just like anything else that you might be like concerned about, like, oh, make sure that, uh, I don't know if let's say you're scared about your house. You want to double check that all the doors are locked, the windows are locked, and whatnot. And you're like, okay, I'm not sure. Did I do that? And you double check. You're checking. You got to be a little bit paranoid. Same thing with the math problem. That attitude is much better than to be like, oh yeah, I could just do this one time, and I'll get the answer right. So what a lot of students will do, they'll do the following. They'll take this problem, they'll do like maybe a step and a step, and then they'll be like, okay, this is my answer. X equals 5. They might have some work here, some work there, and that's it. And I'm like, okay, where's the justification? Where's the story? Like, where's your evidence? Okay. So one, not only do you need to be thinking, I can make an error here, all right, definitely make an error. The second thing is you need to think like you got to be almost like an attorney, okay? Like you're in a court and you're arguing to the judge or whatever. You're trying to make your case that this, in fact, is the solution. So you're going to say, well, Your Honor, this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and therefore this is the solution. Okay? You have to argue, okay, or prove your case. That's a better way of saying it. You have to prove your case to the judge. Now, who's the judge in this case? Well, the judge is going to be your math teacher, right? And obviously, they have the exact answer. But even if you say this is the answer, and let's say this is the correct answer, if you don't have the justification, you can't back that up. It's very much like being in a courtroom and be like, hey, John Smith over there, yeah, he's guilty. And let's say that person is in fact guilty. But if you only provide a little bit of evidence, even if they're guilty, it doesn't make a difference. That's not enough to convince someone. Okay. And what a math teacher is looking for, because we are talking about you being a math student, is the teacher wants to see justification that you understand the process of getting the solution. Okay? The only way you can demonstrate your understanding is by showing all the steps. It's basically, as simple as that. However, okay, let's suppose you're just a mathematician. You don't have to take a test. You're just doing this work on your own. You need to show all this work as well because because showing each step is the way you're going to give yourself the highest probability odds of not making a mistake. Okay, so let me go ahead and just demonstrate this to you, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. All right, so the first thing I have to do here I'm not going to I'm going to explain this lightly. If you don't know how to do this type of problem, then you want to check out some other videos on how to solve equations. So the first thing I'm going to do is the distributive property. I'm going to do it there and there. So this is going to be 2x minus 8, right? Because I got to distribute here. Now I'm showing my work, plus 8x equals 10x. Now this is like a negative 1, right? So I'm going to distribute. So this is going to be plus negative 1x, and this is going to be plus 1, okay? So what do I do now? Well, now I got to go ahead and actually combine like terms on both the left-hand side of the equation and the right-hand side of the equation. So let's see here, I got a 2x, I got an 8x, all right? I can combine those, and then I only have this one number, and I got a 10x and a negative 1x, and I have that one number. So let's go ahead and tighten up the left and right-hand sides. So this is going to give me 10x minus 8 equals, this is going to be what? 10x plus a negative 1x is 9x plus 1, okay? So we're almost there, okay? Now what do you do next? All right, just as a general question to see how your equation solving abilities are. Well, what you want to do is get all the variables on the left-hand side and all the numbers on the right-hand side. So the way we move numbers or variables to one side or the other is by adding or subtracting that value equally on both sides. Let me demonstrate. Okay, so let's move the 8. The 8's on the side of the equation where you want the variables. So I'm going to add an 8 here. But if I add an 8 here, I also have to add an 8 here. Okay, so now I'm going to be adding down in a column manner. Okay. So this is, let me get this out of the way. Just kind of just wrote that just to see, so you could see what's going on. So 10x plus nothing is just going to be 10x. This is just 0, right? A negative 8 plus 8 is 0. Then I have 9x, and then I have 1 plus 8 is 9. Okay? So we're almost there. Now I have this variable term on the right-hand side. I want to move it over here. So the way I'm going to do that is subtract 9x from both sides. Again, this is not a video about how to solve equations, but how to actually work a math problem. So when I add down here, I get 1x is equal to 9x plus negative 9x is 0 plus 9, right? And that's it. 1x is equal to 9, or x is equal to 9. So here is the story. Here's my evidence, okay? Typically, a lot of math solutions, especially with equations, kind of look like ice cream cones. You're kind of like start with a lot and then you kind of just whittle your way down. But these are the steps. But when I'm taking a step, okay, what I'm doing, let me kind of do it this way. When you take a step, when you're showing all your work, right here at this line, I'm double checking. So as soon as, let me just kind of show you this again. So I go, okay, I wrote down 2x minus 8 plus 8x equals 10x plus negative 1x plus 1. Before I go to the next step, before I take any more steps, I'm going to save myself a lot of heartache by double checking my work. And I'm going to say, okay, don't trust yourself. That's the mindset I want you to have. Do not trust yourself. Be like, okay, hold on here. Before I go any further, let me make sure I did this correct. So you go, okay, 2 times x, that's 2x. 2 times negative 4, negative 8, that's correct. Plus 8x equals 10x. This negative outside this x is going to be negative 1x or negative x. And negative times a negative 1 is going to be positive 1. Okay, I'm satisfied. I'm good. Okay, so you double check your work as you go. All right, so this would be the next step. You double check, and then you just keep double checking. You audit as you go, because if you make an error, and like somewhere over here, you can correct it, and you're confident that this is correct up to this point. You're like, oh, I made a mistake, and you can fix it and then move forward. Okay, I too often see as a math teacher, someone will make a mistake, like let's say on this first line, they would make some mistake right here, and then all of this work here would be perfectly correct. Okay, all their work from this point forward would be correct. However, it's correct, but they're doing the wrong problem because they made an error here. You see what I'm saying? So if they would have caught that error, they would have been able to they would have been able to get the right answer. Okay, so you have to double check as you go, and the only way you can do that is to show all your work in a neat and organized manner, right? So let's go ahead and just wrap this up real quick. So the number one thing to do to get a math problem correct is to show all your work in a neat and organized manner and double check as you go. That way you're going to be able to check for your understanding, okay? And you're going to be, building confidence that your solution is in fact correct. So this is a math habit. It's a math skill that you need to practice. And hopefully, if your teacher, is teaching and demonstrating this stuff in class, they're demonstrating the correct process to get to the solution. All right. Now, this is an equation. There's a lot of different things we can get into, graphing or whatnot. That might not be an equation, but the principle is going to be the same. Okay. Again, it's going to wrap this up. I want to encourage you to check out my video that I did on note taking if you haven't already seen it. And if you feel like you're getting something out of my videos, certainly hope you become a subscriber. I'm doing math videos all the time on various topics and subjects within mathematics. If you do become a subscriber, make sure you hit that bell notification again. Hey, if you liked the video, hey, let me know. Definitely appreciate positive feedback. And then obviously, leaving comments is something that really helps me. It lets me know how I'm doing and gives me ideas on, future videos that I can do to serve you. And then last but not least, I do offer full, complete math courses, much more comprehensive than my videos I do on YouTube. So if you're interested in that, I'll leave a link in the description below. But with that being said, I definitely appreciate your time and have a great day.